Hello everyone, I'm back, and as you can see, I'm patting in on Chun-li's legs here because I halfway started doing the blending process of what I use. Right now I'm using Prismacolors, my favorite color pencils, as to color everything, color costume. Now this costume here, I don't know if people are familiar with the Street Fighter game or not, but this is her Street Fighter Alpha costume, before everything took place in 2. Now to me, in my opinion, I'm gonna go on record and say, Street Fighter series is the best series of all, and I've been playing everything since 8th grade. But I think when the U.S. people got a hold of the storyline and stuff like that, they kind of screwed things up a little bit. And I think the Alpha concept was a pretty good idea. And little did everybody know that Street Fighter Alpha 2 was originally the canon part, which led to 3. So 1 was just a mere joke. In my opinion, sometimes it was hard as hell. So that's why I hardly played. But then when I did, I only played with Guy. That was about it. And Street Fighter Third Strike, I used yours truly. I used Chun-Li mostly, and the Golden Boy, if you will, Ryu. But no, enough about that. Here I'm about to show you all how I blend in and everything, how I blend in the colors and everything. I haven't got on the skin yet, but I will later on, probably down the line, down the road. But I just wanted to show you all, my little blending techniques and stuff, and then probably get a chance to color all in here. Her bird, her little wing or whatever, her little vest, as you can see. So, and as you can tell, I already started on a couple of things like her left leg and her brown vest, which I think I did pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you all if I can. Wish I could time lapse it. How everything's all blended in. See how looks good and everything. Uh, Now, feel free. I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and the people that know me, feel free to ask me questions, or whatnot. But I can't say I'm gonna start off. I have been asked questions, like, who got you in the drawing, and I answer that. My late uncle Wesley, that's my pop's brother. Uh, Watching him draw Superman and everything, he had a style that kind of reminded me of the Capcom artist Akino. And I was, if you're not familiar with him, my uncle had a style that was ahead of his time and such. And let me zoom in for a second so y'all can see something. Okay, right here I'm blending this in really well. You got to make sure. I didn't mean to cut off the story, but back to this blending technique, you have to make sure that your colors coincide with one another. And also, a secret when blending in your colors. If you're doing a color pencil, or if you're doing it by marker, always have a different blender. Always have a different blender, or if you're just down to one and or whatnot, you gotta do what you gotta do, clean it off. But always blend, always have more than one colorless blender, because it wouldn't look right. It wouldn't look right for Chun-Li to have blue pants and then you got brown spots mixed in with blue. So I've been noticing some people's artwork, that they try. Some people's artwork is, when they color, they're I wouldn't go on record by saying that their color skills are pedestrian, but you have some people that color pretty good. And but back to the question, my uncle's main expertise was he used the pencil and he used charcoal. Not the charcoal pencil. I'm going to tell you what he used. He actually used the charcoal briquette from that, what you use in the barbecue stuff. And I do remember one time when Pops and we went over to his house when he was living in Chicago. We were living in Chicago. We would go over his house, to check on him, see how he was doing. I watched him draw Superman in charcoal, and I pointed out, and I guess this is where my attention to detail comes in also. I pointed out, I think my pops told me I was about 3 at the time. I let him tell it. Really, I don't know, but excuse me. But I pointed out that my uncle drew Superman right, but the S was backwards. So he went on ahead and corrected that really fast. But yeah, he would draw with not only with a pencil, he would draw a pen, but that amazed me when he used a charcoal briquette, a piece of a charcoal briquette, and did most of his ink, did most of everything with charcoal. And I don't know back in like in the early '80s and stuff, if there was such thing as charcoal pencils or nothing like that. I was more trying to, I was still a toddler then, so and when you're at a toddler age, you don't know much. So, but I was starting, I was starting to learn, and as people tell it, my mom tell it, I started, I self-taught myself how to read. I'll be the first to grab a newspaper and such before anybody. But yeah, I got my art, my uncle motivated me to draw kind of, he was like the driving force, so to speak, for me to draw. Now, I have, shockingly with my skill, I have taken an apprentice in. That's why I said I ain't gonna say my future stepson. I'm gonna consider him my son. Ray to God. So, and he know who he is, and he's a very good artist in his own right. He just wants to learn how to do all the storytelling and stuff. And make sure I got this right here. He wants to learn the art of storytelling, and I believe, and his mom tell me that, love her to death. His mom tells my girlfriend would tell me I created a monster because everywhere he goes, any technique, any new thing he see, he always want to keep ahead of the Joneses. But I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to keep up with me as far as as far as art style, which he's gotten pretty down pat because I've noticed some little similar things he's borrowed from me and everything. And I've noticed that, like his storytelling, the way his facial features and stuff like that. But you can check him out on Instagram at underscore Ray to God, and he has some pretty good artwork there. And I've also seen his paintings also, and you can hit him up there if you're interested because he's looking into commission work also. And I told him, I said, you have to, in one rule of thumb, like I was saying in business, with business, everything with BS walk and all that. One golden rule of thumb is you have to put yourself out there. You have to, you just can't, like with me, you just can't just sit there and say, oh, well, I'm looking for something for, I'm looking for something for it to come up, such, yada, yada, yada. You have to actually put yourself out there. And, I don't want to tell a private conversation. It was like, you know, we had a conversation about some things. He had a little recent bout at the hospital and whatnot, and he started casting doubt about me about some things. And I told him, ask me the questions. Ask the questions that you're supposed to ask. Don't ask the ones that you don't need to ask. He's asking me, personal questions of my situation instead of, you know, word, how he can hone his craft and everything else. No, but I understand. He's a teenager, but he has to learn, and I understand he wants his mom to be happy. I'm going on record here saying it. I understand he wants his mom to be happy and everything, and I'm happy with her. And I'm happy. I'm happy to be with her. Even though she's got away sometime. Ugh, LOL. But I love her, and love conquers all. Love conquers everything. But anyway, back to the subject. As you can see here, I'm blending all this in as much as possible, and it's pretty hard trying to blend in Chun-Li's costume, you know, and with the blue, with the mixture of blues and everything. But this is how I just normally blend my stuff, and I'll be hopefully I'll be be upgrading myself soon. Beside me getting a vehicle perhaps, but probably get me a set of Copics myself. Which ones I don't know. It ain't telling, cause like I said, RTG will probably try to beat me to the punch. But anyway, as you can see here, I'm zooming in right here. This is pretty like much of a tight line. Like I said, it's all about attention to detail, and I hit every aspect there is. But I've been asked like numerous amounts of questions. You plan on pursuing your art as a career profession? Yes, I do. I'm kind of in a personal thing. I'm kind of torn in between, whether I want to quit my current job just to focus on school, or go back to switching shifts from day side to night side and going back to school. And I'm leaning toward that because, I want to, not only better for myself, but, be able to fully, be able to provide for my family in the making. And I don't want them to think that he's just a deadbeat stepdad. He's lazy. He's relying on FedEx. He's doing this and doing that. No, I'm not. I'm far from a dead. I'm far from being a deadbeat, and not. And I've learned, like my mom say, you have to. Well, I forgot what it was she said. I lost train of thought because I was sitting here focused. I was looking at something here. I believe I messed up on something, but I can go back and correct that. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you all my blending technique, and I'm about to kind of wrap this up here. And as you can see, put the camera up on here. I believe I did pretty good. And I would post the final. Excuse me. I would post the final result on Instagram. And stay tuned for the next video. Maybe a surprise. All right, later.